Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we have a vintage wheel lighter that I believe is constructed out of aluminum. Now I'm sure that there are a few parts here that are not. The file wheel, possibly even the standard here that's holding the file wheel. Those are probably, file wheel for sure is made out of some kind of steel, heat treated and hardened. This has a nice engine turned pinstripe design. Got 4 columns running down each side, where that is machined into the side of the case and the lid. I don't see any markings on this lighter whatsoever. There are a few dings, dents, scuffs. Grime that has gotten seeded down into that machined design. That's all just part of overall wear over time. This insert was a little bit short on the wadding when I got it. There was no wadding down this side of the tube, so I did use just a common household cotton ball, split some of it off, fed it down the side, and then put the rest of it over here on this side so that it would hold the fuel a little bit more reliably. And I don't know, there's still the possibility that we may need to change the wick in order to have it function the way that we want it to, but we're going to give it a shot as it is with the original wick, just with a little bit of wadding added to it. I call this a wheel lighter because that's the way I've seen other similar lighters described. It's obviously not a flip top lighter. I guess you could call it an insert style lighter of sorts. And I just wonder about the size of it, how it would relate to, say, the Park Industries or Park Sherman lighter that had a similar construction where you removed the lid. I've never owned one of those. It's on my list of lighters that I would like to own. I've owned so many of the later Parks, the flip top from the Springfield era and also the Murfreesboro, Tennessee era of Park Industries. So this could be similar to that, which that lighter, the Park lighter that the lid removes from, is made out of brass. Just appears to be naked brass, I believe. And as I mentioned before, I believe that this is machined aluminum, possibly anodized. I don't know if aluminum will corrode without anodizing or if it is just more prone to it. There is sort of a sheen to the slicker parts of this lighter. And like I said, it does have plenty of blemishes, scuffs, scratches, dings, small dents, other types of wear. Very healthy flame there. And this style of lighter is sometimes called a trench lighter. similar to the brass number 5, brass number 6. I think the brass number 6 had a windscreen on it, where the number 5 was slimmer, longer, more narrow, but functioned in the same way. The lid comes off, exposing the wheel and the wick. The wheel is actuated to light the lighter. So pretty simple, pretty elementary, but nonetheless a very handsome lighter for the simplicity with which it was designed. I mentioned the brass number 5, number 6s. I don't remember seeing any of those, and of course those were, I believe, much newer lighters than this one. But I don't remember seeing any of those with engine turn designs on them. Machine work. I've had some with embellishments and, of course, engravings. But so this was bought with the group of aluminum block lighters that you saw me unpackage here in the last couple of weeks. And while this would technically not be an aluminum block lighter, it is manufactured out of aluminum. So it just goes to show that while a certain style of lighter may be prevalent among lighters that are made out of a certain material, not all lighters that are made out of that material are produced in the same way. I also don't know exactly what the process would have been. Maybe stamping? Or is it possible that there is a seam here somewhere that was joined together and then smoothed out? I don't think so. I think it was probably stamped, although especially that base seems like an awful deep piece to be stamping. But aluminum is a relatively workable metal, I believe, somewhat soft, maybe like brass. So perhaps a little bit more suitable for this kind of construction, this kind of design, than steel or some other kind of metal would have been. But as I've said before, I am not a metals expert. I know enough to make me dangerous in some instances, and then at other times I'm just completely ignorant. This is a very functional lighter, though, which appears to light dependably, and it wasn't lighting so easily. It was taking a few spins before I had added the extra wadding in there. I don't know if that resulting capillary effect might have some kind of influence on that. Either way, it's a lighter I'm glad to own, glad to put my hands on, glad to get back up and running, and soon enough we'll be glad to sell in our eBay store. So keep your eyes out for that. Until next time.